Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, SYPA and Sibec, for arranging this opportunity to deliver my thoughts or some of the inputs from my side. And I really appreciate the SYPA community for arranging this opportunity so that the world comes together in the, especially in the sector of business. uh, Being in Saudi Arabia quite for the past 20 years, I have some of the experience, especially in the compliance. So, since too many people talk about the business opportunities that are available in the market, I would like to concentrate on the legal parts and compliance part. So, let me share my screen. Hope it is. So Saudi Arabia, why we are informing our people to invest or to have the business in Saudi Arabia is we have the opportunity from the government that it is set for the Vision 2030. In Vision 2030, Saudi Arabia is focusing on three major sectors: health, education, and tourism. Out of which the tourism sector is booming up because Saudi Arabia don't want to rely on oil income. So currently, the tourism industry is booming. And secondly, Saudi Arabia is focusing on logistics. Saudi Arabia wants to be a logistics hub, especially for the transport of goods as well as the transport of people. So Saudi Arabia recently introduced Riyadh Airlines also, so that it want to expand the business in, especially in the airline industry, as well as to be a logistic hub for the Middle East and the world. Secondly, Saudi Arabia is focusing on the hosting FIFA World Cup 2034. So in short, Saudi Arabia has two set of business opportunities for the investors. One is up to 2030 to reach the vision, and in 2034 to reach the world, to bring the world into Saudi Arabia. So until 2034, we have a lot of business opportunities in Saudi Arabia, because up to 2030, Saudi Arabia wants to become a hub for the for the Middle East. Secondly, they will be growing to the next level for preparing the Saudi Arabia for building the new stadiums. So there will be 11 new stadiums, and out of which 4 will be renovating. And the business opportunity, because of in renovating and making arrangements for the FIFA World Cup, there will be more projects to come, because there will be more accommodations required. The stadium building opportunities are there. So in that, people will be required more to complete these projects. So in I'm not touching 100% all the compliances of the important portals, but some of the important portals, those who start the business, these are the important portals that you have to keep it in mind, that these are the portals available with you to run the business smoothly, at least in the beginning of your business. So HRSD, it is nothing but previously it was called Ministry of Labor. Now it is changed to HRSD, in which all your staff data will be there, and any cases coming, like if you are placing a case against the staff or any cases coming through the staff, it will be dealt through this portal. And GOSI is playing very vital, uh, important role, because you have to ensure that all the staffs are added into GOSI, so that government will be monitoring the staff data and their salaries. And Mukim is one of the important portal in which you can make the employee transfers locally, and also the person who comes to Saudi Arabia, you could issue the Ikama through this portal, and also exit and re-entry. That is, in Saudi Arabia, we have you cannot enter same like Dubai and go as you wish. But every time when you are coming in the job profile, that means holding Ikama for the purpose of working, you have to have the visas in hand. Whenever you are going, you need to have exit re-entry visa. If you are finally going, then you have to have the final exit visa. All these two type of visas to be done in Mukim. And there is Mudat portal, in which the compliance of salaries, when a company distribute the salaries, and it should be either uploaded or it should be processed through Mudat, so that the compliance, at least 95% of the compliance should be followed. If you are not compliant to Mudar, then all your uh, company's accounts will be on hold. Especially, you could not you could not make any recruitment, or you could not issue any visas, because your HRSD portal will be closed. And Kiva is one of the important portal in which you could issue the request. That means locally, if you are hiring someone, you could take them through Kiva by sending the request. Also, each staff, you have to have the agreement through Kiva only. Previously, we were holding preparing agreements manually. Now, no, you have to prepare and send the legal agreements between the staff and the company through Kiva. Ministry of Commerce is there, in which you will be issuing the CR, that is company registration. And Chamber is one of the important portal through which you could authenticate your agreements or any other legal documents. Customs, Zarka, VAT, all are in a single portal nowadays, and these are important for the people who import goods and also submit the VAT returns. All these things to be done through customs. And any cases comes to the company or complained by the staff, it comes through MOG, Ministry of Justice. So it is also one of the important portal, so that any cases or complaints that are done by any parties, that will be shown there, and the status of the case also to be understood through this portal. And also, MOJ plays a vital role, that if anyone want to issue the authority or authentication to any staff or any other people within the company, then through MOJ only you could give the authorization. Baladi, civil defense, all these things are important, because if you are running a business, then these important things are to be followed. For example, if you are in the restaurant industry, then you have to take Baladi, that medical cards through Baladiya, and also civil defense, you have to maintain the safe environment for the company. So all these things to be followed through Baladi and civil defense. And Satya is one of the important portal in through which we are issuing the investor licenses. And thirdly, Saudi Business Center is important one for those who are doing the e-commerce business, because you have to have the certificate through that. And EJAR portal, it is very important, because you have to have this for any of your rental agreements for your company or for your staff accommodation, and even for individuals. SFDA, so the Food Drug Authority. So whenever you are importing cosmetics or food products or any other equipments for your company or for your industry, then you have to have this account. Then through that, you will get the approval, then only you could import. And those who are in the business of transport, you have to have the transport license for your vehicles, and so that you could run the business smoothly. And in the part of you have completed all this process with the government. Now you have to have the important registration of corporate, like for example, if you want to do the business with Aramco or Saudi Electricity Company, you have to have the registration with them, that is vendor registration. Without that vendor registration, your company cannot do any business or provide any services to these companies. So it is very important to have these registrations. And some of the uh, rich certificates to be obtained, especially if you are having an institute for training or education related things, then you have to go and get technical and vocational training corporations certificate for your company. Otherwise, you cannot run the business. And also KYC for banks, very important. Every year we have to submit the know your this KYC to be submitted to the banks. Otherwise, your bank account will be frozen, especially for the corporates. So every year you have to maintain all these type of things. And Saudi Post also very important, because it will be the address. Knowing your national address is one of the important tasks, and it will be linked with multiple websites and even the government portals. It is a very important requirement. And then, if you are coming to the staff management and compliance part, now previously many companies, they have violated the law of employees. Now Saudi Arabia regulated the employee friendly law, and even any employee goes to the government, immediately they will be getting a very quick resolution or result from the government, that they are immediately notified, and the companies will be punished if they are violating any law. And for the staffs, uh, each company cannot run without staff, right? So the staff should have all this type of platform accounts like offshore, national address, bank accounts, and QA agreement and GOSI registration. All these are basic things that a staff should maintain it, so that it will be interrelated with other future agreements or the government related tasks. And finally, penalties and stoppage of system staff level. If we are any violating any agreements of the staff, then that also will, if somebody is filing a case by the staff, then it will result stoppage of your system. And also, if you are a investor, there is a possibility that mana safar, that is the your travel ban also can be done. So you have to be very careful about employees and the legal agreements or legal processes. If a staff is having exit re-entry, and if he or the company is not uh, canceling it on time, or any final exit visa we are not canceling, then that will pave a way for penalties. That means it is normal penalty, that is not going to any make any create any problem for the company. But we have to ensure that any such valid visas either traveled or to be cancelled before that travel, if you are not using, or if the staff is not using. Then, if we are holding a staff with ICAMA expiry, that is resident permit, and this also will lead for causing any issues for the company. So we should not have any ICAMA expiry cases also in our company. And Mudat percentage. So as I mentioned earlier, we have to maintain that all compliances with Mudat. Otherwise, your visa issuance as well as transfer process will be stopped. And Kiva, in Kiva portal, not only the agreements, every year you have to give the annual confirmation, which is what is your company and what are the facilities available in your company. All these things should be uploaded and updated in Kiva portal. Any legal complaints or violation of agreement, like vendor payments, rent, or any services that you have a contract and you have stopped suddenly, or there is a possibility that any other circumstances you stop their service, then anybody complained against the company, then it will lead for a big penalty. So anyone doing business in Saudi Arabia, we have to follow the rules and regulations to avoid any penalties or stoppage of your system as well as your business. And non-compliance of government norms during the official visit. If some government official is visiting, for example, you don't have a baladia or municipality licenses or any civil defense license, or if the staff is having different profession and working in the office, that also will have big impact. For example, one of my friends' company, the boy was having a different profession and he was sitting on, for example, he was having loading unloading worker profession and he was working as an accountant. So when the people came for a visit, they cancelled, they put a penalty of 20,000 riyals. So these are the small things that will give big impact on your business. And if you are advertising anything, or if you are putting a board outside the office, then that may give a penalty, that may lead for a penalty, because every advertisements in Saudi Arabia, you have to have the permit from Baladia municipality. And if you are giving an offer to, for example, you are a e-commerce business, or you hold a store and you want to give a 50% or the lucky draw you want to make it. So in that you have to take the permit from Chamber of Commerce, then you could place it. Otherwise, you will get penalized. Customer complaints, for example, we are providing a service or are selling the products. Through that, if any customer is complaining and if you are not rectifying that complaint within the time frame, and we will be getting penalty because of not sorting out the customer complaint, and this will be managed by Ministry of Commerce. If you are giving advertisement for your company and the influencers are giving any wrong information or inappropriate contents, then the influencer as well as the company will get penalized. And these are the small part of compliance I just shared with you. Hopefully it's a very vast part. The compliance part is very big. So in future, if there is a possibility, and I will be coming up with more of this session with more deep information. And thank you, Sibec and SYPA, for arranging this opportunity to unite the business people from India to the world level, global level. Thank you.